Hi, welcome back. I'm here to do list 2 of my top science fiction movies. This list is sci-fi films from 1977 until today. Again, the reason for that dividing line is 1977 was the year Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind were released and changed how science fiction was treated. Prior to that, sci-fi films were considered kid stuff. Oh, there were exceptions, but for the most part they were condemned to science fiction double features. Yeah, like in the song. With the release of these 2 films, attitudes changed. Slightly. Many still do not take it seriously, but these films show that sci-fi could be extremely profitable and that allowed bigger budgets and big-name actors and directors. Now, as important as Star Wars was to science fiction films, I have to say something that may be controversial. Star Wars is not on this list. Okay, before you kill me, let me explain. Star Wars is an awesome film. It is one of my favorite film series and I have seen them many times. But, Star Wars is not science fiction. My definition of science fiction is a genre that attempts to explain its imaginative elements scientifically, even if the science is just pseudoscience. Yes, it may be bull, but it still attempts to explain the weird stuff. However, in fantasy fiction the only explanation for the imaginative elements is magic. Now when most people see aliens and spaceships they call it science fiction, but it is not that simple. In Star Wars, space is just the setting. There is no attempt at explanation for any of the technology, it just is. The fact is Star Wars is a fantasy with an outer space setting. The magic is just called the Force and the Wizard's Jedi. Heck, it even starts with the variation of Once Upon a Time. So Star Wars is not on this list. If I ever made a top 10 fantasy films list it will be at or near the top, but not here. Okay, now that I have alienated all Star Wars fans, here is my list of the top 10 modern science fiction films. Number 10 is Dune. It premiered in 1984 and was directed by David Lynch. Based on the novel by Frank Herbert, I chose this film for the unique world it creates. The look of it was a departure from standard Hollywood sci-fi and was done on an epic scale. Fans of the books feel too much was changed, and it has many critics, but I find its distinctive style makes it a great film. At 9 is Gattaca. It premiered in 1997 and was directed by Andrew Niccol. This film paints a bleak and all too possible future where genetic engineering has made normal people invalid. It is the outstanding writing and acting that put this disturbing vision of the future on this list. Number 8 is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan directed by Nicholas Meyer. It was released in 1982. What can I say? A list of the best sci-fi movies is not complete without the greatest Star Trek film ever. I laughed, I cried. I think I came. The original crew at its best. Nuff said. 7 is Back to the Future directed by Robert Zemeckis and released in 1985. Actually, the whole trilogy is fun, but the first was the best. A comedic exploration of time travel paradoxes with great performances by Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Come on, who doesn't want a flying DeLorean? Number 6 is The Fifth Element directed by Luc Besson and released in 1997. A terrific sci-fi action comedy. The production design and costumes are brilliant. Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, and Chris Tucker give great performances and the blue alien opera scene alone make it worth seeing. 5 is Close Encounters of the Third Kind directed by Steven Spielberg and released in 1977. This iconic film won numerous film awards and has a great performance by Richard Dreyfuss. It is Spielberg's vision of a friendly first contact and the government's attempt to keep it a secret. The effects still stand up to anything done today. Number 4 is The Matrix directed by the Wachowski brothers released in 1999. It explores the theme of what is reality and what effects our perception of it has. The innovative bullet time special effects even beat out The Phantom Menace for the Academy Award. A great action sci-fi film, unfortunately its sequels never rose to the same level. Number 3 is actually two movies: 1984's The Terminator and 1991's Terminator 2, Judgment Day, both directed by James Cameron. A time travel battle between humanity and the evil Skynet machines. Arnold Schwarzenegger, in his perfect role, is evil in the first film, then saves the day in the second. An unmatched set of action films that are just plain fun. Number 2 is Blade Runner, released in 1982, directed by Ridley Scott. Loosely based on Philip K. Dick's novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? A sci-fi film noir, with a brilliantly visualized future. It explores the questions of what makes us human, and how are we responsible for what we create. There are several versions out there. I prefer the original with the voiceover. And number 1 is another Ridley Scott film, Alien, released in 1979. A perfect blend of sci-fi and horror, the artist H.R. Giger designs and creature achieved a truly unworldly creepiness. Sigourney Weaver is outstanding. The sequel Aliens is equally good. My only criticism of Alien is she should have left the damn cat behind. So that is my list. Some of my honorable mentions include 12 Monkeys, Brazil, The Final Countdown, Minority Report, Iron Man, and Zapped with Scott Baio. Just kidding on that last one. If you disagree with any of my choices, let me know. Thanks for listening. Later.